Joe Marquis Wagers. I am Joe Marquis. Today is Sunday, December 31st, 2023. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. I have 22 wagers for today's Sunday slate of games. Let's dive in. The Los Angeles Rams at the New York Giants. The Rams are favored by 5.5. The game total is set at 43.5. The weather is expected to be in the mid-40s, sunny with very little wind. The Rams have won 4 of their last 5 games, and their one loss was to the Ravens in Baltimore in overtime. They are playing well right now. The Giants, on the other hand, have lost 2 in a row, and they have benched the backup and are now going with the other backup QB. I think the shorter list this year would be to list the QBs still playing who started the year as the starter. This is the year of the backup quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is a professional QB, and he's getting the start for the Giants. He had 3 starts earlier this year before becoming injured himself, and in those games he did not lose by more than 1 score in any of them. I'm going to tease the Giants and get this line to plus 12. I think the Rams win, just not by more than a score. The key to the Rams' hot streak has been their newfound running game, and that all starts with Kyren Williams. I'm going to play Kyren to exceed his rushing prop of 91.5 yards. It's a high number, but the Giants are ranked 29th in the league against the run. And I'm also going to play him to have an anytime touchdown. Puka Nacua is on the verge of breaking some long-standing rookie receiving records. They're going to target him a lot in this one. I'm going to play Puka to exceed his receptions prop of 5.5. If you wanted to play these 4 wagers in a same-game parlay, it would come in around plus 800. The Las Vegas Raiders at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are favored by 3.5, and the game total is set at 42.5. The game is indoors, so weather will not be an issue. I don't have a side in this one, but I took the under on the game total. The Raiders' defense has been playing well of late, and on offense, they've been struggling passing the ball. I think he went like 16 straight incomplete passes or something ridiculous last week. So I think they're going to run the ball, and then I think they're going to run the ball some more and really shorten this game. The Colts' defense is ranked 28th in the league against the run. So along these lines, I'm also going to play Zamir White to exceed his rushing prop of 69.5 rush yards, as well as 16.5 rush attempts. In combination with this, I'm going to play Aiden O'Connell to go under his passing yards prop of 213.5. Kind of feel like I'm either going to hit all 4 of these or none of these, since they're all kind of based on the same assumption. I've stayed away from the Colts props in this one. Jonathan Taylor did not look good last week in his first game back from injury, and Michael Pittman is coming off of concussion protocol. I just never know how players are going to respond after a concussion. I couldn't play all 4 of these in a same-game parlay because I could not add the rush attempts, but the other 3 came in at plus 480. The next game I previewed is the battle of first-place teams, the Miami Dolphins at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 3, and the game total is set at 46.5. The weather is expected to be in the low 50s, partly cloudy with very little wind. The Ravens are the other half of my teaser. It brings the line to plus 3 for the Ravens. Even after the big win last week, I don't see this as a letdown spot for them. I think they are the best team in the league, and they are playing at home for what could be home field advantage in the playoffs and a first-round bye. The Dolphins finally beat a team with a winning record last week when they beat the Cowboys, but that was in Miami. This one's in Baltimore. Waddle has already been ruled out, and Mostert is questionable. I thought about playing the game total, but instead I'm going to play the Ravens team total of 24.5. The Ravens average over 30 points a game at home. I'm also going to play Isaiah Likely to exceed his receiving yards prop of 40.5. He's had at least 40 receiving yards in each of his last 4 games. If you wanted to play these 3 in a same-game parlay, it would come in at plus 340. The next game I looked at is the NFC South battle between the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucks are favored at home by 2.5, and the game total is set at 42.5. The weather is expected to be in the high 60s, clear with very little wind. Tampa has won 4 in a row and have looked very good of late. The Saints have 2 wins in their last 5 games, and those were against the Giants and the Panthers at home. I like Tampa to cover the 2.5 here. They're just playing better football, and the game is at home. I'm not going to play the game total, but I am going to play the team total for the Bucks. I'm going to play them to exceed their team total of 21.5. They've scored at least 21 points in each of their last 4 games. Last week was the first time in the last 5 that Rachaad White did not hit his rushing prop. The Saints are ranked 25th against the run. I think he gets back on track and exceeds his rushing prop of 62.5 yards. On the other side, the Bucks are ranked dead last against the pass. I'm going to play Chris Olave to exceed his receptions prop of 5.5, and I'm also going to play Shaheed to exceed his receiving yards prop of 33.5. He's the Saints' deep threat. I mean, he could get that many yards on just 1 reception. If you wanted to play these 5 wagers in a same-game parlay, it would come in around plus 1,200. The next game I previewed is the San Francisco 49ers at the Washington Commanders. The Niners are favored by 13.5, and the game total has been set at 49.5. Weather is expected to be in the low 50s, partly cloudy with very little wind. Now this game could easily turn into a blowout. The Niners will be out to prove everyone that last week's loss to the Ravens was a fluke. But the Commanders have made a change at QB to Jacoby Brissett. He has a lot more experience than Sam Howell. He started a lot of games in this league, and I think he's going to have a calming effect on the team. So I'm going to stay away from a side and the game total on this one. I think there's just too many moving parts. Now I normally hate playing Niner props on offense because you never know which of their many talented offensive weapons are going to step up that day. In this case, I think it's easy, and it starts with the QB. I'm going to play Brock Purdy to exceed his passing yards prop of 265.5. The Commanders are ranked 31st against the pass, and after Brock's 4-interception game last week, they're going to look to get him back on track. This is my largest wager of the day. I'm also going to play Logan Thomas to exceed his receiving yards prop of 26.5. The Niners have given up twice this many yards to tight ends in each of the last 3 games. If you wanted to play these 2 in a same-game parlay, it would come in at plus 238. The Sunday night game is essentially an elimination game between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are favored by just 1 point at home, and the game total is set at 43.5. The game is indoors, so weather will not be a factor. Both teams are 7-8. The winner will be at 500, and the loser will be sitting at 7-9 with just 1 game to go. Both teams have lost 2 of their last 3. The Vikings' defense has been playing great of late under Brian Flores. Their only issue has been inconsistent QB play. Mullins threw 4 interceptions last week, and that was really the difference in the game against the Lions. They're going back to Jaron Hall. He started 1 game earlier this year, but was knocked out in the first quarter with a concussion. That was the game that Dobbs came in after only being there for less than a week, and Hall just never got back on the field, and then Mullins got healthy, came off the IR. So he's getting another shot, and I think that's going to be the difference. I'm going to take the Vikings on the money line. I'm also going to play over for the Vikings team total of 21.5. The Packers have given up at least this many in 4 of their last 5 games. I'm also going to play Hall to exceed his passing yards prop of 216.5. The Packers allowed Bryce Young to throw for over 300 yards last week. Enough said. These 3 wagers in a same-game parlay come in around plus 292. I have not had much luck with prop bets on my Seahawks, so I'm just going to play a side. I'm going to play the Hawks to cover the 4 points at home. Go Hawks. Now, DraftKings has started to cap their parlays at 20 legs, so I cannot play all 22 of my wagers. My 20-leg parlay did come in at over $3 million. One of these days, one of these are going to hit. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, Joe Marquis Wagers. Good luck on all of your wagers today, and I will post again next year. Happy New Year, everyone.